It was the trees that brought us here. The land lush with soaring forests and clean air made the town of Kingsport, Tennessee the perfect choice for Eastman to get its start. The trees held the natural resources needed to develop film, and the trees in Kingsport offered a dense and beautiful supply. Photography was changing the world, and Hollywood, healthcare, and everyday people at home were embracing the innovation. Formed in 1920 to provide George Eastman's company Kodak the chemicals needed for film development, Eastman has thrived through relentless innovation.
Eastman Chemical Company started in 1920 because George Eastman wanted a domestic supply of methanol. But we were a small, tiny company in the middle of Appalachian hardwoods because of the Appalachian hardwoods. That's how our roots to cellulose esters came about. It started because George Eastman wanted methanol, but we're here making methanol from wood. And so that developed into Kodak safety film, which is a cellulose acetate. And then this whole acetyl stream that ended up being coal gasification and other things has grown so much beyond that initial starting point of a wood distillation plant for methanol in 1920.
We've always kind of been a little company that could. It's never occurred to us that we couldn't do it, and so we've had a history of doing that. And we have been involved in some of the big moments in this country's history. And World War II certainly played a big role there, and so it just never occurred to us that there's things that we can't do once we put our mind to it.
So when Eastman got involved with the war effort during World War II, they got involved from several angles. One was, of course, the younger men being drafted, going off to fight on either the Pacific or European front. You had other men who were scientists, both from Kodak, also from Eastman here in Kingsport, who went off to work in Oak Ridge as part of the Manhattan Project. But that left a wide vacancy here in Kingsport in the workforce. So women took over. So the story of Rosie the Riveter was alive and well at Eastman. He had women doing jobs that formerly had been done by men. And so they provided a very large part of the workforce to help Eastman maintain production during the war years.
Well, if you think about how the company has grown, when we started Eastman in 1920, there were only 3 buildings here. We now have over 650 buildings on the property. And I'll share with you a story that my grandfather told me that was passed down from my great-grandfather, whom I never met. But years ago, outside the original administration building, which was building number 1, which was parallel to the South Fork of the Holston, there was a fence where obviously the public could not proceed beyond because of the manufacturing. And people needed work, and they just lined up hoping. And sometimes the works manager might go out, and because of a job or requirement, he may say, "We're going to need 7 people today." So I think it's interesting to see how he would have been in a very desperate environment, hoping to provide for people. But I think how pleased he would be now to see how many people this company has provided and how all that hard work has paid off for so many of us, myself included.
My dad worked here 42 years, so I'm a second generation Eastman employee. And we've got people here that are third and fourth generation. Like I say, my father worked here and he was a chemical engineer. I was here probably 20 years while he was, and our paths never crossed. See him at the cafeteria or someplace like that, but we never worked together.
Eastman is a company that has provided livelihood for generations, and that says a lot in itself. I remember the first CEO that we had, Ernie Davenport. He actually, I think I would give him credit of saving Eastman because he came up with the concept, the idea of spinning the company off from Kodak. Instead of being sold off into smaller pieces, he was able to convince Kodak to spin us off as an independent company. And I give him credit for saving us as a company, a standalone independent company. That was a very bold move.
We're 100 years old, but we're also still growing up as a company, because we were part of Kodak for the first roughly 75 years of our existence, and it's only been the last 25 years that we've been an independent company from Kodak, and that's provides a little bit of I think a different dynamic. So some of the cultural and innovation aspects have been there from the beginning, but Eastman trying to figure out who they are as a company, uniquely and distinct from Kodak, has been part of the growing process that we've been on for, say, the last 25 years.
At Eastman, we've spent a lot of time reflecting about the moral purpose of the company, and we set it as to enhance the quality of life in a material way. That's why we're here. And if you think about the last centennial, from where Eastman started as being a raw material supplier for Kodak, to who we are today as one of the leading material innovation companies on the planet, every innovation we've done, the vast majority are making the quality of life better. It feels like an awesome responsibility. When you think about there's 6 million companies, that have existed in the U.S., and only 600 have been able to make it to the centennial celebration. So, 600 out of 6 million, it's something to be incredibly proud of, blown away by. But also, as you think about building a company for the next century, it's an awesome responsibility to how I continue that evolution of innovation to build the next future.